Our first guest has released 3 albums with amazing featurings, including Sir Elton John, Jake Shears, and Animatronic. Papo com Helal is glad to receive Bright Light, for a fantastic chat. Fun City, your new album, will be released in September with a lot of collaborations. What's behind the album name and what can we expect in terms of sound?
The album title is a quote from the mayor of New York City in the late 60s. So he became the mayor, and on the first day there were transport strikes and everything went wrong, basically. So it was disaster. And one of his political rivals asked him if he was still happy to be the mayor of New York, and he was like, I still think it's a fun city. So I kind of took the idea of a city that's like really, it's really like full of problems, but how you still manage to make your life in spite of them. So, you know, it's written about the LGBTQ plus community, and I feel like throughout time we've always had to live in places which are looking to keep us down, looking to keep us on the side rather than feel like we belong. But even throughout all of that, you have to find a way to create joy, love, opportunities to survive, to work, to live, to have families. So the album really is about how the LGBTQ plus community has survived and celebrated itself throughout time, in spite of whatever's happening around.
To being a singer, producer, and composer, you are also a DJ. Is there a track remixed by you that you like the most? Me and Rodrigo, particularly loved the Danny Minogue's All I Wanna Do 2020 remix by you. What do you want to tell you about it, or other song you remixed?
That's maybe one of my favorites, I think. I love the song. You know, I've been a huge fan of Danny Minogue. Obviously, with your Kylie t-shirt, you are probably a fan also. It was really cool to be asked to do that song. You know, I love her. I love that song. And it was nice to do something different with it and play around with it. The vocals are great. The song's fantastic. And it was, just like nice to be able to work with one of your heroes, even if it's just a remix, you know. It's cool to do, and nice to do something fun in lockdown as well.
Did you put some vocals of yourself in the song? And that was amazing because it's very different with the remix. Rodrigo.
Had a different feel. Yeah.
I was really inspired by like old disco tracks like France Jolie or like some of the other disco divas, where quite often, like halfway through, a male vocal would come in from nowhere, and you're like, "Who is that?" And no one ever questioned it, no one minded. And a lot of the backing vocals were male. Or like if you think about Kylie's "Your Disco Needs You," it's the same thing. There's like these male voices in the background. So I thought it would be nice to just kind of give a little nod to that style of music and just put mine in the background, and they really liked it, which is lucky, I guess.
I'm thinking, and I remember when last year you mentioned it about your favorite track of Kylie. It's from Light Years, I think. No?
Yeah, I can't remember which one I said now. It changes quite often. But Light Years is my favorite album, yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Great.
Rodrigo, what's your favorite Kylie album?
Yeah, just for you to know, Rod, I'm a huge fan of Kylie. I think my favorite album is Aphrodite. Yeah, I think it's Aphrodite because it's very cohesive, and I like the mix of 80s and 90s and a little bit of what was happening early this decade. So yeah, I like the mix.
Yeah.
I like uplifting music. So Aphrodite is a good representation of uplifting music and high energy music.
So about quarantine, how did quarantine affect your work? Was it a period of greater creation for you?
No. No. Honestly, I've really struggled creatively. Luckily, the album was finished before quarantine. And the videos were shot obviously because there's no way to do that now. The artwork was kind of done, but I'm not making the artwork, but this illustrator is drawing them for me. So at least the creative side was done. And then the creative work that I've been doing since quarantine has been something that I haven't had to make from nothing. So like the remixes or doing little composition pieces for people. Like I don't feel capable at the moment of making something from nothing. I don't feel very inspired at the moment.
What can you tell about your creative process?
It's very it's like the unique thing, like you said, like each song comes from a very different place and they all start very differently as well. So some of them I'll get like an idea for a lyric, some I'll play around with like a drum beat, some it's like a synth sound that I choose, and there's no logic really. It's not like I know how to start a song or that I have a process that I use every time. It's just it's lots of different places that inspiration comes from.
Inspirations, yeah. You were the open act of great singers in tours like Elton John and the legendary Cher. How was the experience with these two great singers, Elton John and Cher?
It's a really hard experience to describe really, because it's just so surreal. Like you go from playing to 200 people to then play for like 20,000 people, which is crazy, really crazy. And you step out onto the stage and it's just such a different room to be playing in. It's like you look out at all these bodies in the room, and it's kind of crazy because like you work with their production team and they help you with the sound and all that kind of stuff. So in some ways it's like the easiest shows that you'll ever play, because there's no, like in smaller venues, you don't know if the sound is going to sound good on the night. You don't know who's going to be working with you. You don't know who the in-house like production people are. Sometimes they just don't like you for some reason and they don't want to work with you. But with those tours, it's the same people day after day. You get to know them. You spend, maybe like a month with them, and you don't really have to worry about the technical side of anything, which is so incredible when you're a musician. You actually get to focus just on the performance, and that's very liberating. It feels really good, and you do feel like you're part of a family, which is really nice. And that's something that you don't get very often if you're a solo artist. You don't feel like you're part of a big group. So those tours are amazing to feel like you get to know people well, and you have this sense of community with them for however long you're on the road for, and and then you get to watch the show of one of your favorite pop stars every night. We saw seen Cher's show like 10 times now or something, and I've seen Elton John's show like 60 times. So it's kind of cool to just do your thing and feel amazing for 30 minutes, and then you get to go and watch somebody else be amazing for however long they're on stage for. It's a really crazy experience to be so involved in it, and then at the end of it, it feels like a dream. When you're not part of it anymore, it feels very strange.
Yeah, how did you approach Sir Elton John, to collaborate with him in a few tracks of your previous albums?
We knew each other anyway. We met through his management company, and said hello, and it was very quick hellos kind of thing. But he's a really big music fan, so he just keeps checking what people are doing, and he read the review of the first album when it came out, and he phoned me and said that he bought it and he really liked it, and did I want to go for lunch? So I went for lunch with him, and we became like real friends over the course of maybe like a year. And then when I was writing the second album, I was sending him demos, and he really liked one of them. So then we worked on that, which was great. And then we did the shows together for like a year and became even better friends. And then, I was just like sending him tracks and asked if he'd sing on another one. And so I went to record with him in LA, and I also had these other two songs. It's like, would you maybe just want to sing backing vocals on these? And he went, yeah, sure. So I just played them to him in the studio, and then we did them. Everything was done in like 2 hours or something, and that was it. It's crazy to be able to say that, to even talk these sentences is really wild. To just be like, yeah, I recorded with Elton John. It's fun.
Somebody. 2, 3, 4. What?
Do you know any Brazilian music or singer? Do you want to visit the countries?
Yeah, I really want to come. I was hoping every album that I'd get booked to play some shows in Brazil, but I never have been. It's difficult when you're independent, because usually it's like the record label that would organize going down, like promotion in Brazil. It's such a different country and such a different territory in terms of music. I don't think it's really possible to do that being completely independent, But it's just really hard to find an audience that you haven't already been to. So it's the same for Japan and for Australia. I've never been to either of those places, but hopefully with this record, it will open some more doors, and I'll be able to travel places that I haven't been before.
We know that you're a pop enthusiast, right? Like we are, Igor and I. Do you think that people already try everything for pop? Do you think that there's more to explore? Do you think there's saturated? Do you think like it's getting harder to be creative with the opportunities that are out there now?
I think people will always want pop music, and I think you can always do something cool with pop music if you try. I feel like a lot of the pop music is so similar, like I'm really bored of the pop songs where the chorus is just like a vocal top. I think that's so boring. I think like the song itself has always been so important with pop music. If you think about like early Kylie Minogue songs, the production is dated, but the songs are really strong, and you could reproduce them in any kind of format. And for me, pop music is really about like the melody, the lyrics, and the chorus. So you can always play around with that, and you can always do something new and exciting. So I think there's plenty of room left for people to be creative with pop music, but it's just easy sometimes when people see like one trend, and then everybody just does that for like 2 years, and then they, like after Royals by Lorde, everything was like just a drum beat and a vocal. Like, oh my god.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I tell some of my friends. I feel like it's kind of tough when someone gets popular with a certain style, and then everybody follows. So I admire people that actually tried the other way around. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
Couldn't you see? You almost had a real thing. How could it be? You're still hiding in the dark. Let yourself feel and make yourself believe in all the love that comes through an open heart. You need to hold on to a good thing. You need to see.
There's been a big change in how open people can be about their gender and their sexuality. So it is amazing to see people being out from a very young age, or, you know, talk about transgender issues from a very young age. That's kind of amazing, and I would never have seen that to be possible maybe 10 or 15 years ago. There's a lot more opportunity for people and a lot more visibility, but I don't know if I would say that things are necessarily easier or better, because it seems like in the same way that visibility rises, so there's the visibility of like hate groups. You know, it's like we still have Black trans women being killed more than anybody else. You still have the police like not really paying attention to gay hate crimes in the way that they would like just straight white people. You have, you know, so many conservatives that just hate gay people for absolutely no reason other than they're different. And so even though there's a lot more possibility to be yourself, I think it's still very dangerous. It's definitely better than it was, but it's like remembering that there's still a lot of stuff to fight against and fight for, you know. And I think we're lucky that we do have a lot more like role models that represent different parts of the community, like incredible trans actors and singers, lots of like out gay singers, actors, performers, writers, directors, which, and I never saw that coming. So that does feel amazing to see these people from the LGBTQ community like in public and being respected for their work. It's just sort of remembering that the day-to-day respect still isn't really there, you know. It's a strange situation.
Oh, this was my house and I was not supposed to worry about it. This was the place that I was not supposed to fear. This was my house and I was not supposed to worry about it. This was the place that I was not supposed to fear. This was my house and I was not supposed to worry about it. This was the place that I was not supposed to fear. This was my house and I was not supposed to worry about it. This was the place that I was.
And it's just such an amazing song. I'm glad that you know you were able to work with Nikki and Donna. You know that's
yeah, me too.
That's great.
Yeah, that was really amazing. I love them so much, and I wanted to work with somebody that had like a real connection to the queer community, who aren't actually, you know, gay themselves, but were part of such a big moment, which is, you know, the Madonna tours and the In Bed with Madonna, or Truth or Dare, whatever it's called over here. And just like, you know, such a moment in time, so important to so many young queer people. And it was really cool to have them part of the record. I'm very happy with that, very proud of that.
Yeah. Would you like to work with Kylie one day? I can totally
Yeah, I
see
would love
her
to,
do
yeah.
so well.
Yeah,
amazing.
we'll see. Hopefully one day soon we can. That would be great.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that would be awesome.
Maybe with the remixing some song. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Well, now that her sister is approved, maybe I'll get to do a remix or something. That'd be nice.
All night, all day, for your tears, for your pain. You won't believe it, but I used to be cool. I've got all day, all night, for your passion, for your fire. No way to leave it. What would I do without?
I used to be cool. It's gonna be out in a couple of hours.
Tomorrow, actually. Have a look tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, so hopefully you like
That's how I want to close it. I'm very excited.
Yeah, well, thank
Okay.
you so much for doing this. And yes, keep in touch, and hopefully we'll speak again soon. Hopefully one day I can come and meet some of you in person, because I've never been to Brazil. I've been dying to go for so long. And hopefully with this album, I can come and meet you and get to know your country.